Alright, we're back again with the greatest warrior deck ever made. The 5 mana black rock and roll do nothing. And this time I just want to kind of show you guys some of the other cards and kind of explain those cards that I put in here as we go against a hunter this time. And hunters are a little bit quicker, especially certain types of hunter decks. I mean, there's some hunter decks that are slow enough, and then there are some that can get kind of out of hand really fast. So hopefully we don't go against one of those this time. But yeah, so some of the other cards, I actually just put this card in. If you look at what we just drew, our 3 mana Dinner Performer, which is something I'm kind of experimenting with right now in this deck. I'm not really sure if it's going to stay because basically the idea behind it is I play my black rock and roll, it busts my whole deck, and then if I'm able to play the Dinner Performer at a later time, maybe at 8 mana, because I have a lot of good 5 drops, in my deck. So there's a high chance it'll pull one of those. I even have some with Rush, which is nice. So kind of experimenting with that, play that, hopefully get a good 5 drop that's really buffed, and then I'll still have another 5 mana that I can be kind of flexible with. So that's something that I kind of just put in. I'm not sure if it'll stay. I'm not sure if the upside's really worth the downside, which happens to be when it's in your opening hand and on 3 mana and you can't play it. I mean, even on 4 mana, 5 mana, it's not worth playing it. So it's kind of just a dead card in your opening hand if you do unfortunately draw it. So it might just be too negative of an impact to keep, because the upside, is really good. I like the upside. I mean, playing it on 8 mana definitely can be very strong, but I just don't know, because really this deck only loses if you have a horrible start, and having Dinner Performer in your opening hand, unlucky, you could just doom the start. So yeah, might be getting rid of that. And it looks like our hunter just played that really annoying 10 drop, and it's dormant for 2 turns, which would seem like enough time. But if you're playing a slow deck like mine, there's no way that we're going to kill this hunter before that thing pops. So this is kind of one of those hunter decks that kind of can get a little goofy later. And unless we get lucky, and we get some really good stats and we pull the right rush cards, usually this kind of a hunter deck would beat ours, unfortunately. But yeah, anyways, so we have that 4 mana 5/4 with a good death rattle. That is just a great card for this deck, because you play it and it's a 5/4, but it has a death rattle where it will summon 2 3/3s if the opponent doesn't play those 3/3s from their hand. And so either way, it's good for me, because if I can play it on 4, they can only play, one of those. Or if they went first, they're at 5 mana, they can still only play one of those. And so even if they kill it, I'll get 1 3/3, but I'm totally fine with them actually playing the 3/3, because 3/3s in this day and age of goofy Hearthstone, where everything is just insane power skill. Playing a 3/3 for 3 mana is like a death sentence. So if I can get them to do that, or even if I play it on 6 mana and the only thing they do with their turn is play 6 mana where the 3/3s, I am just totally happy with that. So really, that's just a great stalling kind of card. It's just good for the early game, just trying to get to the later stages. So yeah, I have that card, and it's pretty good. I think whenever I've played it, it's really never been a bad thing. And right now, this hunter is getting insanely out of hand. Which, yeah, is kind of unfortunate because, you know, we haven't really had a lucky start. We haven't had our 5 mana spell, our black rock and roll, which, you know, the whole deck is kind of centered around. So if you don't draw it or get it, it can be tough. And especially when the hunter's already popping off with giant statted minions before we can even get our giant statted minions. Yeah, anyways, we also have the 2 mana rush card that if you play with Finale, it gains lifesteal, and that's obviously, oh Jesus, well there's a Colossus card that I didn't want to see. But yeah, it gains lifesteal, and obviously if you can get that buff and you draw it later, maybe you're low on health, and you can use that 2 mana. It's only 2 mana, but sometimes it can have like 8 attack, and so if you can give that lifesteal and it has rush, all of a sudden you're gaining, you know, 8 health a turn. Not quite as good as Ziliax, but you know, you can only have 1 Ziliax. And wow, he gave me all those bananas, which is terrible because now I'm gonna burn all my cards. And yeah, this game was over anyways. But yeah, that was kind of an insane sequence from the hunter. Well, GG's first loss on video for this deck. Well, I'm gonna keep going next time.